What's up, everybody? This is the Palmer Squares.
And you're listening to the Average AF podcast.
This is Dan Cummins, and you're listening to the Average as Fuck podcast.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Catalyst Bars, and you're listening to the Average AF podcast. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? This is episode 51 of the Average AF podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I am here with Steve, as always.
You know.
With the last duet episode. I know we said that last week, but...
Yeah, we lied.
You lied. I don't know. I will never admit that. But you lied to our loyal fan base. So sorry for Steve's fuck up. But
sorry.
No, in all reality, we had like 3 guests canceled this week, so...
Shit.
But it's all good. That just means more guests for later. So,
yeah.
Sure. But I did want to mention we are, hopefully you noticed, we're recording off a GoPro now that I had figured out how to kind of make it work with our recording software.
Yep, expensively, but
yes, but it's cheaper than buying a whole like new digital camera. So hopefully it looks good, it sounds good. The mics, just so you guys know, we had to figure out a little delay with them. The mics and the audio to us is 1,025 millisecond delay.
Yeah.
So we can't hear it or anything like that, but that's just for processing. It's really fucking weird, but we did a lot of testing and think it looks pretty good and sounds pretty good.
Hopefully it's just delivered the final product.
Yes. So a lot of tinkering, but hopefully it looks good and sounds good for you guys. But if something happens to where like we cut off mid-conversation or something
God
like that,
forbid.
And we come back, that means something fucked up. But we got to try. We'll see how it goes. But how you been, man? How's life?
As you know, I turned 32 on Thursday. So that day I didn't do anything. Actually, that day I was pretty tired. I took 2 naps that day.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Right.
To an old-ass man.
Right. For the first time, this was the first birthday I had where I really felt like, instead of thinking like, oh, yeah, like, enjoying it, like being my age, like, yeah, I'm whatever now. This time around, I was like, damn, I felt like I'm that much closer to dying.
Damn. Why you got to get all morbid?
I don't know. That was the dominant thought this time. And I wasn't sad or depressed or, nothing about that. But it was just like, damn, I'm 32. Like, the years are coming.
Right.
And they're coming and they're coming.
Right.
Next thing you know, like the last 10, like I had my son when I was 22, my oldest. So, it's just like it's a fucking blur. And
that's
then,
crazy.
When 42, like, holy shit, it's going to be here before I fucking realize it. So, I got some shit I need to do before
I'm going to be 30 in like 15 months or something, which is weird. Like, it's a little over a year away, and I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and the older you get, the time just seems to go faster, man. It's crazy. So, didn't do much on the actual day of, but me and my homie, my best friend, we set something up for Saturday. They got me surprise tickets to Cedar Point, which was nice. We were originally going to record that day, but they wanted to get up there early because they closed early. They're not open as late as what they normally are. So, I get up there, we link up, and then we go up to Cedar Point. And a few things I want to talk about as far as that experience. The first being, we get there, so they're requiring you to wear masks. So we get there. If you didn't have one, it was $2 to buy one. We all had one, thankfully. But $2 was a shit. But anyway, we go through this little thing, and they had an infrared fucking body scan thing to make sure you didn't have a fever.
Damn.
You just literally walk up to it and stand in a certain spot. They tell you, all right, you're good, go. And, and they had people. We decided full blown, like, look, when we get past the main gate, we was going to put the shit on our chins and just walk around. No, bro, they wasn't having it.
Really?
We got stopped by like 5 or 6 different people that worked there and be like, hey, can you put your mask over your nose, please? Like, they were on it, bro.
Over your nose, too? Like,
yeah, the whole, like the way you're supposed to wear it. Like, they wasn't having it.
Wow.
Was not having it. So that was
and
kind of
that's crazy because like Cedar Point employees don't get paid shit.
I know.
And
Their
they were
jobs are
still
not,
like,
yeah.
hey.
So I don't know if they got threatened with some sort of
Right.
consequence or something for not enforcing it or whatnot. But
Right.
you had your share of people who just didn't have it on. We seen a few people, but if they were definitely on you. They were definitely on you. No fear whatsoever. Hey, sir, hey, ma'am, could you, you know what I mean? And even the cops that were there, they were enforcing it too. So I was kind of shocked by that. Like, damn, they really.
Is there normally cops there?
Yeah.
I know there's like security, but like.
Man,
there's actual cops?
Yeah. Yeah. I've
don't
seen them. I
remember that.
think I've been 4 times. I've seen them twice. This
Really?
last time, yeah, full blown outfit and everything.
I guess I haven't been there in probably like 5 or 6 years.
Okay,
So.
yeah, I think this is my at least 3rd time going. I think 4th
Right.
though. So we get there. That's kind of a bummer because it's hot. We're outside, and you got this mask over your face, the whole time, and can't really breathe and shit. So we walk all the way. I don't know if you know the layout of Cedar Point very well.
I've been there quite a few times.
Okay, so the Maverick, one of our favorite rides between the 3 of us that went. So we decided to go walk straight to the back and just work our way forward, and get into whatever fuck we wanted to get into. So, so we were hungry, stopped, got something to eat real quick. Then the Maverick was like 3 minutes from where we ate. So we get there, and there's a guy standing where the entrance part is at, and he's like, "Oh no, we're done for today." I'm like, "What?" It's like 1:30,
right,
2:00. Like, you don't close till 8. Like, what do you mean we're done? Like, well, there's these certain passes you have to get in order to ride the ride. So there's 3 rides. First of all, let me say the half the rides were closed to begin with. Not going to be open for the day. Top Thrill Dragster was on there. Probably out of the big 4, Maverick, Millennium, Top Thrill Dragster, and
the one by the beach, whatever that one is.
Yeah. 3 of those 4 were closed.
Really?
Off top. So we get to, well, no, the Maverick was open. Anyway, we get there, and he's standing there, and he's like, well, we pass out these little tickets now. They're free, but, they're first come, first serve, and there's only so many per day. And if you don't have one, you can't ride this ride. So we're like, where the fuck was, like, there was no notification at the entrance, like, online. I had the app downloaded, so I had my tickets on. There's no sort of nothing about this.
Right.
They opened at 11. We got there at 1:30. He said the tickets were sold out by noon. And everybody has to have, whether you're a season ticket holder, or if you bought a ticket for that day or whatever. So you telling me that if you want to catch one of the big 4, you have to get there pretty much right when they open,
right,
and snag a ticket because they sell out in a fucking hour. You know what I mean? Like, think about the people that didn't show up to 3 or 4 o'clock. Like, oh, this ride's been shut down since pretty much noon.
Right.
You know what I mean? With no warning.
But why, though?
Because of Corona. They have to limit the people on the ride. The one attendant dude was like, it's some shit that the government's forcing.
Yeah, but, like, are you not limiting the other rides?
Right.
Like, what's the difference?
It's only the most popular ones, I guess, they're doing it with. But, yeah, it doesn't make no fucking sense. So we're like, what the fuck? Like, we came all the way in here, walked all the way back there.
People travel, like, states to go to Cedar Point.
I know. And to get there. And they were sold out in a fucking hour. So, and you can't reuse them. So let's say we did get one, and we rode it once and wanted to get it on it again. No. Unless we had 2 tickets to do it, we can't ride it twice.
Wow.
It's like, what? So, we went from there. Nope. Millennium, same shit. Sold out. So we ended up settling for the Magnum, which was open.
Here we go.
So we hop in line, and first of all, they said the ride time wait was 45 minutes. No, we were in that line for an hour and a half.
Yep, sounds about right.
Hour and a half, and then when we finally got up there, we seen why, because they literally after every time somebody gets off, they're spraying the whole thing down. Then they have somebody come behind and wiping the whole it's like a 5-minute process. Every single car. It was just like, oh.
Right.
Like, come on. Like, you couldn't ride all the rides here if you got here if you wanted to.
Right.
Even without all the tickets and shit. Like, just the way they have to clean everything. Like, you'd be lucky to get 5 in.
Right.
Honestly. And if you from 11 to 8, you'd be lucky to get 5 rides in.
Jeez.
You know, so it just wasn't. I mean, it was good to get out of the house, and you know, we got on there and shit. But the other thing we talked about was, you know, like we're in our 30s now, and you know, we was in line for an hour and a half, which is really quick for the big rides.
Right.
And we were just in line like, oh my God, this is like, we couldn't believe how like over it we was before we even got to the fucking ride. Like this standing in line shit is dead.
Right.
You know, and we started talking like, dude, we did this in 2007. And we rode like 7 rides that time. Right. With no fast lane pass. Willingly stood in all those lines.
Happy
I don't
as
remember.
Can be.
Yeah, I don't remember being so like, oh my God, this is taking forever.
Right.
Like, and it just hit me like, dude, when you get older, certain shit you just have no tolerance for.
Right.
And you don't even realize it until you go through it again. You know what I mean? Right. It was just kind of like, I remember it's like when we finally got to the fucking stairs to get on the platform to actually get on the fucking ride. I'm sitting here like stretching my legs and shit, legs getting tight. It's like, oh my God, like I feel like an old ass man.
That's how we were, dude. That's how I was at the zoo a couple weeks ago, man. Like, I'm like walking around. I'm like, man, I gotta fucking sit down. Like, what the fuck? Like, we ended up, we got there at like 11 or maybe 11:30, and we left by like 3:30.
Yeah, we weren't.
And I mean, it's the zoo. It's not like we don't really have to wait in lines or anything.
Right.
So we got to see everything we wanted except like one exhibit. But the way we took the fucking route. The last exhibit was at the complete other end of the park.
Shit.
And I like wasn't feeling it. And Harper wasn't feeling it. And we were just like, you trying to go to Sonic? And then like we went to Sonic and had a good time there. But yeah, so I feel you on that.
Yeah, man. So we actually get on the ride, and honestly, I didn't enjoy it. Like
really?
It's honestly probably
you get whiplash.
I don't know. I had a mild headache from having the mask on anyway. The ride made it worse. It was only like a 3.5, 4 minute ride tops.
A 4 minute ride's a long ride, though.
But you think about it, that initial hill, getting to the top of it takes 1.5 minutes.
Does it really?
Yeah. So that climb to that takes a good minute and a half just to get to the top and then actually get going.
Dude, that's the worst part about the Millennium Force.
Oh my God,
going up it, and I'm like, fuck this. I almost died on the Millennium Force.
Yeah.
I will not ride it again. I almost died.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But you know, all the turning and the lifting up out of your seat and shit, it just wasn't.
It's a young man's game.
It really is.
Right.
It really is. And you know, I was excited, like, yeah, we're gonna do this shit. But after I got off that ride, I was like, look, I don't want to ride no more roller coasters.
You got an ice pack? Like
yeah, like I am done. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just like, you know, it's just crazy how you get older and the same shit that you used to love doing, you just don't have the same passion for it no more, even though you think you might. Right. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Long story short, we get on that one ride. We get off. We're like, look, dude. First of all, like that was the shortest line of all the rides we wanted to get on. Jeez. And it said 45 minutes. It ended up being an hour and a half. Think of what the ones that say 90 minutes are really going to be. So we were like, you know what? It's like we got there at like 1:30. At like 4:30, we was like, we out. We out of here. Right. You know what I mean? It was hot. We were sweating at that point.
So you rode like 2, 3 rides?
No, one.
Just one.
We got on. We got there at 1:30.
Went to the one ride. It was closed.
We went to Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Stood in line for 30 minutes there. They fucked up our order, first of all. We ate. Tried to hop in the line for Maverick. Then we went and found out Millennium, all the other ones. So we found the Magnum. Hour and a half in that line. One ride. We got off of there. It was like, look, we thought about doing some carnival games and shit after the ride. When we got off, we were like, no, let's just go. We're done. We're done. This is not what we thought it would be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I think, honestly, with all the restrictions and shit, it just made it not a great experience. So for anybody considering going to Cedar Point, don't do it. Don't do it. Not this year. It's not worth it. It's just not. If you were thinking about going, let me be a testament to what you're probably going to go through when you go there. And just if you got season passes, try to get a refund. If they let you do it, hold off as long as you can. Just don't go this season because it's just not worth it, man. But after that, we went back home, took a nap like some old people, and then I got up and I got drunk as fuck. So
nice.
The night ended well, man. So That was my week.
I do want to mention the light just went off on the GoPro.
Yes.
It does show that we are still recording and everything's looking okay on our end.
Okay.
Do you want to stop and check and then come back in a minute? If
that's not going to be too much of a...
All right. I can splice it together, so.
All right. To be continued.
Yep. Peace. All right, guys, and we're back. Everything seemed to check out with the GoPro, just so you know, you didn't miss anything.
Nope.
There was the one, like literally about 1 second blackout in the video, but the audio is still there. If you're only listening on audio, you have no fucking idea what just happened, so that's fine. But yeah, so Cedar Point sucks.
Yes.
Is the
Don't
moral
go
of the
this
story.
year. Yes. And I think half of it was just me being 32.
Right.
I think honestly I'll probably go back one more time because I told my kids we would go, and then the corona happened, and then looking forward to it, but it won't be this year. I'll probably go back one more time and ride one more fucking coaster because I know they probably asked me to. But other than that, I'm done. You just don't get that type of thrill anymore. I don't need it. You know what I mean? You don't. I literally my heart was racing to shit.
Right.
Off that little ass ride. You know what I mean? Like it's just amazing how much it affected me just from the last time I went on it 4 years ago. So
Right. Craziness.
Yeah, man.
One thing we did realize while we took that little 30-second intermission was that we forgot to shout out our Patreon producers, which is Mr. Taylor Sabo.
Yes.
And Mr. Tom Pullum.
Yep.
Tom did just up his tier to the $10 one, so thank you for that.
Appreciate you, sir.
I will say about our producers, one of them is a very good person, and the other one is basically the unicorn of the woods. He's a goddamn Sasquatch, but I love him to death, and fuck you, Tom, but whatever. Not really. But yeah, so thank you to them. Since we're talking about the Patreon, though, I want to kind of call some people out just for a second, because as you guys know, next week is Steve's official last episode.
Yes.
As a host. I'm sure he will return as a guest.
Yes.
Every week. But it is last episode, so I'd like to get voice messages from you guys.
Come on.
Especially people that,
know
listen.
me.
Well,
especially I want the ones from them that know me.
Right.
Like, there ain't no reason you can't think of a question to ask me or give me some, feedback on, or wish me fair, something. You know what I mean? I'm expecting a lot more than what we got. One so far?
We got one, and it is awesome, but
okay.
Yeah, we need some more. So I'm expecting them from Justin, from Jackie, from Jerry, from Asia. We'll throw Alexa in there. She's listened every week.
Nice.
And has never given us a voice message. So, but thanks, Alexa. And I mean, who else? Taylor. It'd be cool if we got a message from him.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. Maddie, if she still listens, probably not. But yeah. So I want to call some people out by name. That way, you feel forced to do it.
Do it.
There is a link in the episode description to record a voice message. Real easy. You might have to copy that link and put it in like its own browser rather than opening from YouTube or whatever. So kind of keep that in mind. But it's real easy, guys. 60 seconds. Wish Steve farewell, or insult him heavily, or whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
But we definitely want to hear from you guys. But yeah, I know. I think that's really all the updates we had. If you guys missed last week, we do have a website, averageafpodcast.com.
Yes.
It's pretty popping.
Yes.
The community board is awesome.
Yes.
A lot of interaction on there, so definitely check that out. And things like that. I think the GoPro just went black again, but from last time we were good.
We're good.
We're good. That's very weird, and I don't like that it does that, so.
Nope, it's fucking with us.
Yes. Anyway, I know you had one other thing you wanted to talk about before we get into kind of my topic.
What about your week?
My week fucking sucked, man. No.
All right. All right, we're done.
Peace, guys. That was episode 51. No, my week's fucking standard. I have basically the same routine every day.
Okay.
I work and then I go see my daughter.
Okay.
And then on Fridays I work and then I go see my daughter, and then on Saturdays I sleep in for like an hour, which is great, and then I go get my daughter, and then I have her all day Saturday and like half the day Sunday.
Okay.
And then I kind of do whatever I can for a couple hours, and then we record.
Gotcha.
And then it starts over.
Oh,
So,
how was the UFC event?
it was cool. It was good. I guess that is one thing I could talk about. I lost $160 this weekend, but not a big deal.
Ooh, that's how much it cost you?
No. So
Oh.
I made bets. I don't know if I told you that.
No, you didn't.
So, basically, the way it broke down, I wanna pull this off. If you're a UFC fan, you know Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman had a fight yesterday or Saturday.
I really wanted to check it out. I seen the little scuffle they had where they got pretty heated,
Right.
and he's blowing them kisses and shit. But
Right.
I did hear. Did I hear right that he was on short notice? The one guy was for some reason.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Gilbert Burns and Usman for the title, but Gilbert Burns actually has coronavirus, so he couldn't make the travel.
Okay.
So they called in Jorge Masvidal, who's a fucking animal.
Okay.
So he was an underdog, but I mean, everybody was like, don't count him out. It's very possible he's going to win and things.
Was it still a title fight?
Yeah, it still was. So I bet on Masvidal to win by knockout or TKO.
Okay.
He's a good wrestler, but he doesn't really have, not that he doesn't, but he doesn't really go for submissions. He just knocks people out.
Okay.
So I stuck with that because you can bet on fucking anything.
Okay.
You can bet on if it goes the distance. You can bet on who wins what round. And,
Oh damn! Wow.
Yeah, in one fight, you can have 30 different bets, probably more than that.
That sounds fun, man.
There's a lot to it, but I picked that he would win by knockout or TKO in round 1, and I bet it in round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in every round. That I just think he's gonna win by TKO in one of these rounds.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that, I put $20 on each round.
Okay.
So it was $100 total. But if I win the least amount, for round 1, I would have won $120.
Oh shit.
So I would have got my money back.
Hell yeah.
If he would have won in round 2, I would have got $160. And then $330.
Oh my god.
And then $620. And then $1,260 if he did it in round 5.
So the longer the fight went, if he'd won,
Right.
the more it would have benefited you.
Right.
Wow.
So it's the first time I ever bet on UFC, but I thought this was a good one to throw some money at. And if I won, I would at least get my money back regardless. And I was not that I was super confident, but Masvidal is a beast, and he just likes to knock people out, and there's bad blood and kind of things like that. So I was pretty comfortable betting on him. He didn't win, so I lost $100 there, and then I bought the pay-per-view, so $60 there.
Okay, gotcha.
But if he would have won in round 2 or later, I would have came out even, including the price of the fights. So the event was pretty cool, though. It was the first one on Fight Island in Abu
what
Dhabi.
Is that
Basically,
a physical location?
Yeah, it's in Abu Dhabi. The screen just went black again. Fucking A. It's pissing me off. But, yeah, so it's Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. They have a 10-mile radius blocked off, and there's hotels and restaurants and it's
Damn.
all this. It's crazy, dude. It's pretty awesome.
Wow.
They got wine and dined. They had
have to look that
caviar on
up.
the plane.
Oh shit.
Shit like that. It's the first fight in Fight Island.
Okay.
So this is the idea behind it is this is a place where everybody can go, because some countries you can't leave or you can't go to or whatever, but Abu Dhabi is letting everybody in. If you can get out of your country, you can come to Abu Dhabi.
Nice, bro.
So, but they had 8,000 coronavirus tests just this weekend there.
Okay.
Just not spectators, but employees of the UFC, the film crew, the athletes, all that kind of stuff. Between everybody, they had 8,000 coronavirus tests.
Okay.
So quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. I mean, I'm not upset that I lost money necessarily. It was honestly because I had an extra $100, and I just got paid, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I looked at the odds, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I even actually texted Tommy because he knows a little bit more about betting than I do, and I was looking at it, and I was like, does this mean what I think it means? Like, if I bet this, blah, blah, blah.
So was it through an app that you bet, or what is it?
It was MyBookie, which is, it's a website. I thought it was going to be an app, but it's not. It's just a website. Okay. But yeah, it was cool. Nothing crazy. I watched it, here by myself. Harper actually watched the prelims with me.
All right.
And like we were cuddling and stuff, and I was like, "You like watching fights?" And she went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah.
But she was out by 7:30, which is crazy. She's usually awake till like 10 or so. So it was kind of cool to be able to watch the fights and not have to deal with her. That sounds weird, but she's 2, so like you can't just like let her go. You still got to watch her a little bit.
Tend to her sounds better than
yes, it does. It does.
Deal with her.
Deal with her. Yeah, so I mean it was cool. Not upset about it. I mean I technically lost $160, but I was willing to.
Got it.
Got
it. And then that gets you that much more involved, when you actually have money on something like that. So
so it's cool.
I can see myself doing that on NBA games all the time if I have it,
Dude, DraftKings is fun.
Is it?
Yeah, cuz you can like I forget what it's called, but like during the normal season, there's different ones where you can pick like Denver versus the Cavs, and then you can create your starting lineup and who gets the most points, and you get so many points for rebounds and assists and blah, blah, blah. But then there's one that like you can pick any like 10 players from any games going on.
Okay.
And then win money that way.
All right.
Like you pick 2 point guards, 2 shooting guards, like all this kind of stuff. And it's really cool because you can watch everybody's points just because every possession's like 15 seconds.
Right.
And if you're betting on one that has multiple games in it, it's just
updating in real time.
Yep. Turnovers, you get docked a point. A 3-pointer, you get extra.
Shit.
Like
that
it's
shit
just
can get intense.
Yeah. So it's fun. But
I have to try that.
And you can
maybe
bet
next year.
There's like 10-cent games and stuff.
Okay. So you don't have to put up big money if you don't want to.
But the 10-cent game, like if you're in the top like 10 out of like 30,000 people, you'll get like $100.
Okay.
But if you're in the top like 15,000 out of 30,000, you'll get like 50 cents. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. It's fun.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
I dabbled a little bit, but it is what it is. But yeah, you got something that you want to talk about?
Yeah.
And then we're going to get a little heavy.
Okay. So listen, there's a famous trap rapper.
Yes.
His name is T.I. Sure a lot of you have at least heard of him.
Tip.
If you don't listen to his music, I love his music, most of it.
Yeah.
So I was just scrolling through Instagram one day. He did a live and in the live he was talking about this company out of the UK called Lloyd's of London. And in that live feed he described how they got their start, which was insuring slaves from the people, or I guess insuring slaves of the people that stole them from, I guess, Africa or whatnot, and, brought them over. I guess that if one was to, I guess, die or something like that.
Yeah. From my understanding, it was like basically they were being insured from the UK to America.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
On
and
the trip over.
If they died during the trip, they get more money, I guess.
I don't know from the 16 whatevers, I don't know how you would deal with.
It's an investment.
Yeah.
I guess is.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, anyway, they're still kicking today. Worth $50-something billion with a B on it. Yep. And they also insure, I know 20th Century Fox was mentioned in the video. That's one of their people that they insure something with, but pretty big company. And T.I. pretty much demanded since I'm laughing about it, but he has some valid points to a point. But he's demanding that Lloyd's of London give up 10%, not of of their money, 10% of the company in perpetuity, whatever the fuck you say that word.
Yeah.
Perpetuity.
Perpetuity.
That's a weird fucking word. Right. All right.
I don't know what it means, but
just from here on out,
right?
Until they no longer exist.
Okay.
And then his goal was to give every black person in America $1 million.
Yes.
Now, before I got to the chance to do the math, I sent the videos to Adam, told him, like, watch these when you get some time, let me know what you think. He did the math on it, and what'd you come up with?
Well, first of all, I would like to say I'm glad that I think we're on the same page about this because when you sent me this, I was like, it sounds a bit ridiculous, but I don't know if I'm just like the white guy saying that. So
yeah,
I think we're on the same page. But yeah, so he said $6 billion because it was like 59.2
something like that.
billion is what is their net worth. So, 10%, $6 billion. And he said, every African American would get $1 million.
Right.
So me being the fucking nerd I am, I said, let me whip out Google and a calculator real quick. And I Googled how many African Americans there are in America.
Yep.
And according to the 2010 census, there was 42 million. You said recently that you saw something more around 50 million now.
As of around today, right.
Okay, so right around 50 mil. So we did the math. 6 billion divided by 50 mil is $1.20, which is what I would have won if Jorge Masvidal won in the first round. So, $120 split up, that split 50 million ways is $120.
Yeah.
Far from $1 million.
Yeah. And, my thing was, first of all, do we even have the right? I hate to sound like, I'm not for, getting what we quote unquote deserve. That is a fucked up thing that they were doing, even though it was so long ago. Yeah. But are we in a position, do we have the right to be able to be like, hey, motherfuckers, y'all did this 400 years ago, and because of that, we deserve and demand, 10% of your company in perpetuity.
Right.
And, like, I don't even know how you would go about, obtaining something like that.
Well, like, that was the thing for me is, like, I see his point, and I see what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
But the hard part about it is your $59.2 billion that you're worth today has been made for the last couple hundred years without this part that he's talking about.
Right.
So I think the more, if he really wanted to pursue this, the more realistic thing that he could have done was say, like, and the records are so long, I don't even know if they would have those records still, but, like, how much money did you make between this year and this year? We want 10%, all of it, whatever the fuck it is, with inflation, because it's going to be a lot different, and then send that our way. That's a little more reasonable.
Right.
I still don't think it's, I get it, but
I don't know how he's going to go about actually making that happen. Let's say even if it does boil down to $1.20, how, like, what step one and step two and step, like, what, like, I don't even know how you know what I mean? And then he also talked about he wants to give every black person in America. I'm laughing, but maybe I shouldn't be. It just sounds like a radical idea that just, like, okay, $1 million line of credit with no interest, no credit checks. He said he wants, because we deserve this. We deserve everything that we've been, we deserve this for everything that we've been through over the last 400 or so years. But I'm thinking, like, do you, like, that, first of all, that wouldn't happen in his lifetime, our lifetimes.
right.
Like, if that ever was to even become the case, like, that wouldn't even happen for years and years and years to come. And, I'm just waiting for them, because he says he's talked to famous people about it. They're behind him. I guess he got Jay-Z. He said he's behind it. This is Tip's words. And then the guy that, I forget what his name was, but
he named a couple people. I forget their names.
Yeah,
too.
the one guy that paid all the tuition of the people from the one black college, that billionaire guy. He's supposedly behind it. I just want to see what their first, they're to get their lawyers and go talk to them. Like,
Right.
Listen. And, like, they could easily just be like,
Right.
And then it's done. Like, I don't understand how they're going to make them give up 10. That's a lot. We
Right.
talked about that before the podcast started. Like,
Right.
that's a lot to give. And who you giving it to?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you have to divide it by 50 million people, you're going to have to hire people to be able to
Like
disperse
manage
that.
all that.
Like, you have to create another company to manage that part, like that 10% to send it out to people and blah, blah, blah. And, like, the $1 million credit limit, like, again, I see his point, but, like, why don't you just give every person in America, like, a $25,000 credit limit or a $50,000 credit limit? Like, that would be cool. You know, then people could really start small businesses and stuff.
Right.
Which that's what he was saying is, like, we could get our businesses up and running.
That sounds fine.
I get it, yeah, but, like, in all reality, probably maybe 10% of those 50 million people are going to have successful small businesses.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
That's being very generous.
And it don't matter what color you are. Like, you give $50,000 to somebody, more than half of them are gonna fuck that up.
Right.
Like, they're gonna be in debt, back in debt, because they don't know what to do with that type of money.
Well, they're gonna like buy, you know, a house or something for $50,000, and they're gonna pay it off. And they're gonna be like, cool, you know, I don't owe any money, like it's paid off. I don't have a mortgage, all that kind of stuff. Sweet, until your property taxes hit, and then now you owe whatever the fuck it is, 7%, or I don't know how it works.
It can really, in the long run, cause more problems than we already have with, you know, our economy and, you know, people and, you know, money management and all that type of thing. So, I'm definitely, if you want to watch the videos, his Instagram handle is Troubleman31, I believe.
Yeah.
They're still on his page or whatnot. Go check them out. One of them's like 15 minutes. The one I showed Adam, it's like 15. The other one was like 5. But he's got another one on there. It's like 25, where he kind of talks a little bit about why he believes that, you know, we are owed all of this equity from Lloyd's in London. So chip in on the community board, AveragEAFpodcast.com. I would love to hear what people have to think about it. White, black, Mexican, I don't care what race you are. Just weigh in on it and just tell me if you think it's feasible. Right. And, you know, like I said, even if it really is, they do come up with some sort of plan to make that happen. It won't happen in our lifetime. And like you said, they'd have to create a whole nother business, like, and then literally
the cost of the business.
Yeah, like it's so much to figure out. I don't ever really see it happening. But he's passionate about it. And he's like, you know, just get behind me. That's what he keeps saying. Get behind me. He's like, you don't know what to do? Just stick together. That's what he kept saying. Stick together. All we have to do is stick together.
And I don't mind sticking with him, but I need a better plan. like
you know what I mean?
You have the right idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to see better execution.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's what I said. Like, when he said he got all these people behind him, like, what did you say to him to convince him that this was really a plan that was worth pursuing? Because,
like, right now, how it is, like, you know, say you were with him, you backed him, you stood beside him for the whole couple years or whatever the fuck it took, 10 years that this is going to happen. Now you get your $120 payout.
Like I said, I'm laughing, but, you know, it just sounds like an impossible task,
right? In
my opinion, you know. And like I said, I'm keeping my eyes on it because I want to see what they're going to approach them with. What are their lawyers, whoever's lawyers, his lawyers, whoever team you come up with? What are you going to present to them to make them, convince them to be like, you know what? Damn, we're sorry, man.
Right? How do you How do you think this is going to be? How do you think you're going to win this in court?
Right.
Like. Again, I understand, and
his intentions, you know, I'm sure are, you know, in the right place, but like the execution part, that's so. Hey, we'll weigh in. AverageAFpodcast.com. I want to hear what you think about it, and then
we'll go from there. Cool. But yeah, that's I don't know.
I don't. Like I said, I keep laughing because it's like this guy,
right.
It's a powerful message if you watch the videos. It really is. He makes you really believe in what he's saying, but then when you really think about it, it's like...
Right. Yeah, I mean, he sounds good, man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, so I got one. It's kind of a multitude of topics. It can the hard part about this thing that we're gonna talk about is because there's not a set topic.
Ooh.
There's a set theme.
Ooh.
Kind of, and there's no right or wrong answer, which is why I like it. So I'm gonna ask you a question. It's a very
I don't like questions.
All right, guys. So that was episode 51. Fuck this guy. No, so this is a 4-word question.
Oh.
But it's deep. And if you need me to clarify, I can.
Oh, you
But
know me. You know me. I need
I would like you to try to answer without me clarifying, but if
you know me, I love context.
right. So, all right, here we go. Where does Steve start? Or where is Steve? I guess that's another way.
So 3. Where is Steve? Where is me?
Right.
Me.
Right.
Where am I?
Right.
I am right now. I'm in Lexington, Ohio.
Right.
Sitting in your place of residence.
Okay, but now where is your consciousness? Where is Steve?
Inside of my physical body,
Where?
I embody it.
Okay, so you're saying your body is all of Steve.
That's the best way I could put it to you.
Okay. But the hard part about that is your whole body is controlled and felt through your brain.
Yeah.
So are you your brain?
Wow.
Like that's what I'm saying. Where does Steve start? Where are you? Are you here? Like if you try to take your body out of it, where are you?
Oh wow. Holy shit.
And there's no wrong answer, but
Yeah, but I still don't know how to answer that.
do you see what I'm trying to say though? Yeah.
Yeah.
So where is Steve? Where does Steve start? Because if it's your brain, if that's what you're saying, then what about your soul? Or do you think there is a soul? Where is your soul?
I think the whole soul thing is something that's one of those things that, you know, people kind of tell you when you were a kid and you just run with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't even know if that's, I think there's something, so we'll go with conscious.
Okay.
Everybody has that. Now the definition of that is what? Like, some people would define it as like your set of morals and beliefs and, you know, what you believe in, quote unquote.
Right.
You're conscious. But that's in the brain.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So,
But even without all that stuff, where are you? Before morals, before ideals, before any programming or thoughts, like not thoughts, but any, you know, outside influence. If you were just a fresh slate, just born like right now,
yeah.
where are you?
I don't know how to describe that outside of using like the physical, like where I'm at, like in the flesh, like physically.
Right. So are you your brain or are you your body?
I can be both of those. I'm all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. That's
It's
crazy.
weird. It's a weird question, and that's what I'm saying. There's no wrong answer, but like, you know, where do you start? Do you start at your toes and work all the way up? Because I don't think I am my foot.
Right. That's a part of you though.
It's a part of me.
Yeah.
But where do you start then? If that's a part that branches off of you, where are you?
Wow. Yeah, man, it's not that when talking about it in that sense, it's not that cut and dry, I guess. It's not that black and white.
Right. It's just a weird question.
Yeah.
It's a very simple question, but kind of like the most complicated question.
Jeez.
Right. And I like, this is what I was saying before we recorded, that I kind of have like a deep conversation where it's not deep per se, like about you or anything necessarily, but it's, you know, it's just kind of a thought process.
Man. I think when you come to questions like that, everybody eventually has to draw from something that they just don't know the answer to. Like I said, kind of what you believe. Like, because I think death honestly answers so many questions like that.
Right.
And I've always wondered, like, when people die, it's like, I wonder, you don't know. You know, people believe in heaven and hell. I personally don't believe in either one of those. I'm more apt to believe that there is nothing before believing there's a true heaven and a true hell.
Right.
Like, I have never sat here and sat like damn, like, man, if I die, I might go to hell. Like, that's never really truly like hit me. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even believe in it. I almost refuse to even think of it like that.
Right.
Like some eternal fire, like that the Christians want you to believe.
Right.
This big eternal fire that you just burning forever. Like, I mean, that don't make sense. But really, heaven doesn't either.
Okay, so we're gonna dive into that in a minute because I do want to hit on that.
You almost have to get into religion, and you know what you believe is after this thing to kind of go to answer that question.
Right.
Almost.
And I want to dive into that. That was kind of the second part, but like, it's to kind of bring it back. It's fucked up that as aware of everything as we are, and as intelligent of a species as we are,
right.
Varying levels depending on if you vote for Trump or not. But sorry, but as intelligent as we are as a species, it's amazing that we cannot sit back and tell you where we are. Isn't that weird?
Right.
Like, how do you not know where you start?
Right.
Isn't that fucked up?
Right.
I don't know where I am. I know where I am physically and things like that, but like consciously, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, those are just concepts in the mind. I don't know if you can really put that shit into words even. Like, we just don't, there's no way to, and I don't know. Like I said, I think at some point you just have to start drawing from, you know, philosophy and, you know, what you believe to be true. And you would drive yourself crazy thinking about it though.
Right.
Oh
but
my God.
Again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's kind of whatever.
I think there is though.
Okay.
I just don't think you know until you die. Okay. And you would love to come back and tell the people that are alive, hey, when you die, this is what happens. But nobody can do that.
Right.
I think that, you know, and that's what I was kind of saying a little bit ago. Like, I've always wondered, like, you know, I wonder how many people that have died. They probably have so much shit they want to tell us.
Right.
So much shit about, like, dude, this shit don't matter. Like, stop worrying about all of this. That doesn't matter. Focus on this. This matters.
Right.
Don't do this. That matters.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? But they'll never be able to.
Well, that's, and this is why I mentioned, I think it was before we started recording, that this was something that we've kind of touched on, but never really dove into.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I'm so kind of carefree and laid back, is because I do believe when we die that there's nothing. That's what I believe. And I think that in and of itself, you know, that there's nothing after you die, it just kind of shuts off.
Like a TV just shuts off,
right.
Black screen forever.
And that TV's not aware that it's off. It's just It's just gone, right? But to me, like, a lot of people go to religion for comfort and things like that, and for moral reasons and things like that. But, like, to me, thinking that there's nothing after this is actually peaceful.
It's more peaceful than some other things you may think might happen, for sure.
Because when it's over, like you said, you just don't know.
Right.
It's just done.
Right.
And there's no worrying about the next step or anything like that. And you don't know you're dead.
Right.
Like, you don't even know that. You know what I mean? Right. It's just kind of peaceful, you know, that would be the way to go. And I think it's a Ricky Gervais quote, who's a comedian. he said one of my favorite quotes of all time is like, he says, everybody says atheists have nothing to live for. And he's like, it's the opposite. He said, we have nothing to die for.
Wow.
So, you know, we're here. You know what I mean? We try to live in the moment. We try to, you know, enjoy things as they come and not really worry about the little things and kind of things like that, because we think at the end of the day, we're that TV that's shut off in the garage.
Right.
And we don't know it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, there's not even nothing. Like, it's the absence of nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not black.
It's even the end of consciousness even.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't know that you're that TV that's turned off. So to me, that's why I try to value everything now and try not to worry about, you know, the little things about me having to park, you know, far away from the entrance and just shit like that. Like,
right. This question can go into so much deeper shit, bro.
Right. Well, let's go.
So let me ask you this: do you fear death?
No, I never have, and it's
that is something that I can't wrap my head around.
Fearing it or not fearing it?
Not fearing it, and some even like nobody can really unless you're absolutely crazy. To me personally, like something's not right in the head, which. You know, what is that?
Well,
was that anyway?
No, I'm not. So.
People that tell me though, like, no, I'm not scared of dying.
Right.
I always am in the back of my mind. I'm like, but yeah, you have to a little bit, only because out of the fear of the unknown. I'm not saying that you're scared of, you know, what's going to happen per se, but you do have everybody. I think you can't tell me that you don't have that fear only because of at least because of, you know, what's the unknown. Well,
and I get that perspective, but again, I think like
what if okay, let's say my bad I cut you off. Let's just say like, okay, the whole I never will believe it, but let's say the whole Christian thing is real, and we know we never committed to this Jesus Christ figure and everything, and there is a physical fucking hell. Like, who am I to say that that's not real? So, like, the possibility is there, I guess. I guess it is. Just as much as it being nothing, just as much as you going to heaven. Like, all the possibilities have to exist.
Well, right. So let me answer both of those, because the first one is, do you fear death? And I think I fear what can cause me to die.
Gotcha.
What can be the cause of my death.
Okay.
But the death itself, I don't fear, because people are like, well, you're going to, you know, who's going to take care of Harper? You know, and she's going to grow up without a dad and like blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously, I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to be here for, you know what I mean? And things like that. But in an unbiased kind of, not really, but like kind of a scientific viewpoint with, you know, taking out all emotions, the reason I don't fear death is because once I die, none of that stuff matters. Because again, we're the TV that's turned off in the garage. I don't know now that Harper's without a dad. I will fear the moments maybe leading up to it.
All right.
I'm going to be sad in those moments because of that. But dying itself, again, that's kind of why I say it's almost peaceful.
Right.
Because
so you firmly believe that there is nothing. That's what you believe.
I do.
Okay.
But if there is a hell and we go there, all of our friends are going to be there. But But like, for real, if Christianity is real in the sense that of the standard stereotypical Christianity, we'll just use that as an example. If that's real, God is omnipotent, right?
Right.
And he knows everything, and everything is kind of pre-planned for you. You're on a path and blah, blah, blah. So if we peel those layers back, what that means in a very simplistic way is that God made me to go to hell.
Yeah.
So fuck it. I've actually I've actually thought about getting this tattooed, and I probably will. I don't need to look it up. I remember it. But it's a Mac Miller quote.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, God made me a sinner. I'm following protocol.
Shit.
Because it's like, and that's the other thing. Like, you can't blame me if this is how you made me.
Right.
If you're omnipotent and you know everything that's going to happen.
And you're in control of every single thing.
Right. This is how you made me.
That's the basic reason to me why Christianity just never makes sense. It will never make sense.
Yeah, you designed me to go to hell.
Right.
Dope.
Right. And you ask a pastor that, though. You tell a pastor that, and they just, they give you this answer that just like, you know what? No, I can't believe. I'm sorry. Right. I can't believe it. So.
And I respect everybody in their opinions, but
and their religion too. Like, I'm not gonna knock you for believing what you believe. Just know that I don't believe it, and you're not gonna convince me to believe it. And I guess I'm taking my chances. If I go, and that's what it is, I guess I have to live with that result. And
the other thing too, like, and this is something I realized early on, because my whole family's religious, basically. So I've been to church multiple times, like, just to kind of try it out. And I had some friends that were religious, and we used to go with his family, and it never felt right to me. I had an unsettling feeling when I was in there. That's just me. But the other thing is like you can't given. Okay, so I'm gonna say something that's extremely real. It's 100% real, and there's no debate in it, and it's gonna piss people off.
Okay.
The word faith means believing something without proof. That's what having faith is. Yeah, I don't see him like the air, like we don't see it, but we have faith that it's there, right? Without proof to us, I guess.
Right.
Same thing with religion. Like, they say you have to have faith, even though God's not talking to you or you haven't seen a sign or whatever the fuck it is. You have to have faith. And I think that's the biggest cop-out of all time. Because no matter what you say, have faith. Hey, no.
Yeah, right.
No.
Right.
Like,
the human brain is not wired to accept that answer, in my opinion. Like, we're always going to question it. And you can't just, especially something like that, at least. Like, you can't just be like, well, you got to have faith that if you do these specific things, you'll go to heaven. Like, no.
No. The one thing that's guaranteed in our life is that we are here. Like, whatever the fuck that means. But we're here on this planet now, and we are for sure living our life till we're 80 or 90 or 100 or whatever the fuck it is. That is what is for sure. After that is just guesses, right?
Wow.
What happens after that is just guesses. There's some more educated guesses versus non-educated guesses. There's some scientific guesses. There's some religious guesses. There's all these different types of things, and there's no way of knowing what's right.
No.
There's some, like, emotions, like when some people do die for a couple minutes and come back, right? But scientifically speaking, the reason you felt that certain way and things like that, is because of potentially the DMT running through your head. Because, do you know about DMT a little bit? Have you ever heard of DMT?
I don't think so.
Really? That's interesting. DMT is basically a psychoactive compound in your brain.
Okay.
A lot of people, like, actually smoke DMT, and you can take 1 or 2 hits and have, like, the biggest trip of your life for like 10 minutes.
Oh, shit.
And then come back and you're perfectly fine. No side effects or anything.
Calm down, nothing.
Right.
Okay.
But it's a chemical in your brain. It actually is.
Okay.
And it's released when you're sleeping to cause you to dream.
Okay.
There's I think a documentary called The Dream Molecule or something similar to that. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is, but that's what causes you to dream.
Okay.
So when you die, your brain releases more DMT than ever before, which is potentially why people say, I talked to people.
Right.
I felt a warm feeling. I went to the light.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Like,
wow.
The hard part about all this is it can all be explained by science. But again, we don't know what happens when you turn the TV off and it's unplugged forever.
Right.
We know what happens when you die for a couple minutes and come back.
Right.
But we don't know what happens after that DMT runs through your head and then it runs out and then what?
Right.
So it's hard to say. But
all that's measured, in your brain. So, I mean, logically, right, you would assume that it's nothing. It's exactly what you believed happens. When all brain activity ceases.
Right. But then
that's it.
That comes back to the question of, is there a soul? Is there somewhere that your soul goes? Like paranormal stuff or ghosts or whatever. There actually was a study. This is like, I don't remember the specifics, so I could be way off here, but it was back in like the 70s or something like that. And they took like a corpse and took the DNA and the molecular structure of that corpse and broke down every, like, the amount of iron in this body, the amount of zinc, the amount of sodium, just every little thing that the body's made of.
Uh-huh.
And there was something like 0.3% or like 0.03% that they could never come up with the numbers for. Like, they could never figure out, like, no matter how many decibels they went, how close they studied, like, there was something missing of the same kind of weight to some extent. Very small, obviously. But they could never figure it out, like, what that last little thing is. And they ran the numbers however many times. And that's why they're kind of like, well, maybe there is actually a soul that leaves.
Right.
But it only weighs, a milligram or
right.
whatever.
Like whatever small ass amount of, but they can't explain it. So, yeah. Damn, man.
Yeah, definitely look that up. I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was something along those lines. But yeah, it's just a weird conversation, and I wanted to have it with you because this is the last time we're gonna have a duet episode, for sure. Because Baker's gonna be on next week with us. And I just kind of, we've touched on the subject, but we've never kind of went full into it. So to kind of sum this all up, in your opinion, whether it's one sentence, a word, a phrase, a fucking novel, whatever you want to say, what is your meaning of life?
I've come to this conclusion pretty much over the last 4 or 5 years. Like you said, that the 20s is a lot of time when people are figuring themselves out and what they want to do, who they are truly, and all that stuff. So I pretty much 3 or 4 years ago, I decided that I'm going to chase whatever makes me happy in this life because I don't know what happens afterwards. I'm not going to live for something that I believe. I'm not going to that will happen after the fact because we just don't know. You'll never know. Right. So focus on, find out what makes you happy in this life. Whatever that is, chase that and until you go. And then, when you go, you deal with that when that comes.
Right. I'm with you there. I think, my dad always said, he growing up, I always used to make fun of him because he would watch the History Channel and Sci-Fi Channel and the Science Channel and just always trying to learn stuff and things like that. And I'm like, man, you're such a nerd. And like, just joking with him. But I was like, I don't care about any of that. And he said, one day you will. And I was like, no, I won't. Well, after some shrooms, here we are. So, but no, like I've always kind of thought this way ever since I was like 13, 14. You kind of started to develop your own thoughts and things like that more and more. But he always said growing up that he wants to find why we are here. That's his goal in life, is to find out why we are here. Now, given, his...
Personally, newsflash, he never will.
And he knows that. And he said that. He said it'll never happen,
Right.
but that's what I want, is to, at the end of the day, know why we're here.
Right. And I think that's something you'll figure out. If you ever do figure it out, it'll be after you die, and you won't be able to tell anybody about it.
Right.
Because, like, everybody dead knows why we're here. And I believe that. I believe everybody that's dead knows why we exist on this earth as we do. They just never be able to say it to anybody.
So you're kind of contradicting yourself then.
How?
Because if you say everybody that's dead knows what happens, that means you're saying the level of consciousness continued after they died for them to know that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm open to. I'm not ruling anything out. Like, you believe that there's nothing, right?
Right.
I'm not ruling anything out. I believe
Okay.
that could happen. I believe there could be a heaven. There could be a hell.
Right.
There could be. I've even thought of shit like maybe we just become shells of ourselves and just kind of just fly around the fucking earth. That's what ghosts are. And
Right.
kind of you can choose to be good. I'm not ruling anything out, but I've chose not to even think about it.
Because why does it matter?
Yeah,
like
I can't control it. Whatever the truth is, I can't control
Right.
it. So focus on what makes you happy, control what you can, why you can, and do that.
That's kind of where I am too. Again, that's kind of why I don't try to stress out or anything like that. Like, I think it's safe to say I don't live by other people's rules for the most part. Like, I mean, I'm civil, right?
Right,
And things like that. But like, I don't.
I think that me and you are good people in general because it makes us happy to do good.
Because we want to be.
Not because, if I don't do good, then there's some God upstairs that's gonna fucking send me to hell. Like, no, it's not like that.
Right.
I think it could go the other way. If it made us happy to do bad shit to people, guess what? We would do bad shit to people.
Well, that's
and
I think I've mentioned it before when we briefly brought this up, like on an early episode, like 6 or 7, when we originally talked about religion, and things like that. But like, I definitely lost my train of thought right now. But what were you saying? Sorry. Man, I
was
lost
on
it.
to you.
I lost it. But
I'm not ruling anything out. I mean, everything is.
Well, yeah. So okay. So there we go. So when I was a kid, that was one thing I struggled with, was like morals, right?
Right.
And it wasn't anything like I never did anything, but to me, again, growing up when you're 13, 14, kind of coming to the conclusion of there's no God, in my opinion, and at that point, the dark thoughts that you have and things like that. Like, so to me, I was like, well, why should I be good? Like the only reason, and that was another thing my dad said, and he's just trying to educate me. Like, in his opinion, my mom grew up Christian, and they said, I can go to church if I want to. They were just sharing how they felt about things.
Uh-huh.
And my dad always said religion was the original peacekeeper, because without it, there's chaos.
Yes.
And there really would be.
Yes.
So I was like, well, why am I being a good person?
Right.
Like, why does it matter?
Right.
Like, aside from laws and being put in prison, why would I care if I punch this person in the face?
Right.
Like, it doesn't bother me. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I'm trying to be a good person, and like,
right.
But that's more for me. And let me say this real quick too. Like, that's one thing that people have wrong about, like, atheists, is like, you have no morals and things like that. And like, I think atheists are some of the best people because they are deliberately choosing to be good for no other reason than they think it's right.
Right.
It's not because God told me to, or, my parents told me to, or anything like that. It's just because I think it's the right way to live my life, I guess.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. One more question. We're already 70 minutes into this thing.
Cool.
Do you believe in karma then? Because I think I do believe in it, but I think a lot of people tie karma to some sort of religious, like, affiliation almost. Like, you know, you do good things going to happen to you, but not because people want to do good unto you because you did good to them, because God's going to reward you because you were a good person. I think a lot of people spin it that way, but no, in my life experiences, like, just treating people well has always come back in some form. Like, everybody, like, we all need help at, you know, with some things at some point.
Right.
And just in my life experience, when I'm nice to every person that I come across, those times when I need help, people are nice back. That's just the way it is. And so in that sense, I believe in karma, you know what I mean? But I can definitely see where people couldn't. Like, I think there's a lot of times where bad things happen to genuinely good people. Just generally good people who look out, you know, for their neighbor and all of that. Horrible things happen to these people. So, you know, is karma a real thing? I don't never know. I can only go off my life experiences. And, you know, I'm inclined to believe that there's a general, like, invisible almost hand as far as, hey, you know, just generally speaking, if you're good to other people, you'll reciprocate that back. You know, they'll reciprocate that back to you.
It's hard to say. I think I more believe in, like, manifesting rather than karma. Like, they're very similar in that sense, but I think if you manifest good things and you're good to people, you know, your consciousness and your drive and things like that will direct you to the right outcomes.
Okay.
But again, the world's fucking crazy. You know, I don't want to go into all that, what's going on right now, but, like, you know, with the amount of people and the amount of chaos, like, driving a car is fucking chaotic.
Yeah.
Like if you really think about it, you know, we're going 60 mile an hour between a 6 foot, you know, lane or whatever the fuck it is. Like, you know, it's just, there's odds, and there's being unlucky. I guess not in the sense of, like, an actual luck, but in the sense of, like, kind of wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
Because, you know, everything's such close calls. You know what I mean? Like, you could get in a bad wreck and survive it, but if you were going 2 more mile an hour, or if you would have swerved just a half a second sooner, you could have died or whatever. So I think there's just a lot of it comes down to very minute moments and very small things that happen. Like, so, for example, if I told you, like, this, I don't know why, but, like, if I said, man, you're so fucking fat, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And something to actually hurt you, right?
Okay.
You're going to leave here now in a bad mood. You might send a text that is phrased incorrectly, who's going to set that person off. And it's the severe butterfly effect. So, like, you know, it's hard for me because, like, you know, I can't think of anything specific for myself, but a lot of people have things that has been said to them when they were young, and it stuck with them.
Right.
And now it's motivation and all that kind of stuff. And that was literally a 2-second sentence that literally changed the course of your life.
Right.
So every tiny thing, like, if I said, you know, man, you're looking good today, like, you know, it looks like you lost some weight, you're going to leave here with some confidence now.
Right.
You know, now you're feeling good. You might talk to the chick in line at the gas station.
Right.
When at other times you might not have the confidence to. You know, you guys spark, you know, get some sparks going. You end up marrying her, have some kids, like, you blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, that's a real thing that happens. And it's all because I said, man, you look like you've lost a little bit of weight.
Right.
Or you're looking swole today, you know, or whatever. Right. And it's just one little thing can point you in different directions all the time. So I don't believe in karma per se because there's just too many outcomes. Mm-hmm. But I do believe in, I guess, manifesting in the sense of, like, you know, if I think highly of myself, that's going to help me progress in a certain direction in
so
life.
you can influence kind of
Right.
the direction your life takes
without even trying.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a natural influence in attitude or things like that. That's why, man, I get so upset with people with bad attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Like, I'm a very negative person generally, but at the same time, but at the same time, I'm not.
Right.
Like, I'm an extremely, I think Jerry said, I'm the most pessimistic optimist he's ever met. Because I'm like, dude, this is going to suck, but it's cool.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it is what it is, and we're going to go through it. But, like, anybody that, like, sulks in stuff or, you know, has a bad attitude, it's just going to compound.
Right.
Like,
or focuses on all the negative stuff
Right,
all the time.
right.
All the time.
I just can't be around that energy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, shut,
feel it.
like,
Right.
just, and we've talked about this too, like, happiness being a choice. Like,
Yeah.
we both came to the conclusion on a previous episode, like, at the end of the day, we think happiness is a choice.
Right.
Just choose to be happy. And it's very much easier said than done. But, like, at the same time, like, just don't be negative.
Yeah.
Like, it's super easy.
Yeah, it's that simple.
To
when
just
you really
not.
break it down, it's
Right.
really that simple. It's a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in karma to answer your question,
Okay.
but I believe there is influence, but I think it's more of yourself rather than an outside thing,
Right. Right.
I guess
right,
is how I would answer that
Right.
super in a long-winded way.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Man.
that was a great conversation. I'm
Yes,
glad
yes.
we got to have it. We're at, what, an hour 15, give or
Mm-hmm.
take. So, but yeah, guys, I mean, hopefully that was at least compelling.
Yeah.
To some
Anything
extent.
that we talked about, I want to hear you on that averageafpodcast.com talking about it, giving your feedback, whatever it is. Like, engage us in that conversation. I'll try to check it every single day. I'm
Right.
glad I get email notifications when people
Yes.
respond. Because at first I was just going on there.
Right.
And then I realized I got like, yes. So I know when people, and I check my email 30 times a day.
Right.
So
Me too.
I will know within probably a couple hours that you wrote something on there. And if you got some feedback or, you know, a question or whatever, I am on there all the time. So
Right. Yep. Definitely hit us up, you know, on that community tab. That thing's been fucking going off.
Yeah.
And we,
Yeah.
you know, there's not that many people on there. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I did actually just put a poll up there a couple days ago about what you guys would like to see as far as if you were to join the Patreon. Like, what would entice you to join the Patreon with us? We could do like a large giveaway of like one person getting a shirt or a sweatshirt, a hoodie, you know, maybe a banner, you know, something that they want.
I seen doing something embarrassing had
Right.
just as many votes
Right.
as one of them. So I'm
Right.
like, you know what? I'm kind of glad I'm not going to be around when that happens.
Well, that's, yeah. So there's that, you know, we could do smaller giveaways where we
Yeah.
pick 5 winners and you get some small stuff. There was an option on there for us to do something embarrassing.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my head, which I'm going to have to run it by Baker probably, but like, I shouldn't say it out loud, but I'm going to just because I want to hear you guys' opinion. I kind of want to get this on film and have somebody, maybe even you, get a dozen eggs
Okay.
and just throw 6 of them apiece at me and Baker as hard as you can. Right.
Bro.
That'd be hilarious.
Yes.
And that would suck ass.
Yes.
But if we get to $100 on Patreon, that is an option,
Yes.
right? So if you want us to do something embarrassing on video, we can. The options are endless in that sense. So if you have suggestions, let us know. But yeah, everything's at averageafpodcast.com. Make sure if you go there, hit that anchor tab or that anchor option and leave a voice message for Steve.
Do it.
We're going to say the deadline for those are Saturday around noonish.
Yeah. So that means you'll have 4 days about roughly from the time this episode drops to everybody to
Right.
get that on there. So
Right. So I'm calling everybody out. Taylor, Tommy, Stevie, Asia, Jerry, Jackie, Justin,
All of you.
Alexa, Maddie, like whoever the fuck is listening all the time. We appreciate you, and I know Steve wants to hear from you. If you want to
Yep.
just say "fuck you, Steve," that's perfectly fine. I will laugh very hard. If you want to say something really nice, don't leave a message. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just hit us up and all that kind of stuff. But we appreciate you guys checking out episode 51, and have a good night.
We out.
Yeah. Yeah.